Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode number 18 of the Anubhav Jain show. We'll cut straight to the chase. No dilly-dallying, no beating around the fucking bush. And the first announcement that I want to make, which is very apparent from the title of this podcast, is that I am quitting alcohol. I'm quitting alcohol until the start of the IPL 2022 season. The IPL 2022 season kicks off, I think, late March, early April. So between now and then, I'm not going to be touching alcohol. That's what the goal is. And I'm going to tell you what triggered this, So basically, in a nutshell, this past weekend, so on Friday night, I got absolutely fucked out of my mind. Absolutely fucked up, absolutely hammered, drunk, bladdered, as they call it, in informal British parlance. And I was hungover all throughout Saturday, and I was questioning, some of my actions on Sunday as well. And I felt really guilty about some of my actions. I'll tell you a bit more about my alcohol history, because it's been quite the roller coaster, So I was in college between 2011 and 2015. I went to Georgia Tech. I was in America. I did my undergrad in America, so not my master's. So, for an undergrad student from India in America, it's quite literally what Miley Cyrus says, which is, hey, it's a party in the USA. But listen. I also made sure that I was actually focusing on my academics. I graduated with a 3.86 GPA, bitch, out of 4, with an engineering degree, albeit imaginary engineering or industrial engineering. But still proud of the fact that, I was able to handle my academics as well as my extracurricular activities. One of the extracurricular activities being, my heavy drinking during the weekend, Friday nights, Saturday nights, sometimes Thursday nights as well. Anyway, I'm digressing. I tend to digress a lot because, I'm very, very, I have ADHD. So my mind is like all over the place. My thoughts are all over the place. So coming back to my alcohol history. So in college, life was tough, dude. Engineering, exam ka pressure, midterms ka pressure, assignments ka pressure, this, that. So you were drinking a fair bit to have fun, but also to drown your sorrows. It was a very extreme life that I had, work really, really, really hard Mondays through Fridays in college, and then get absolutely sloshed, absolutely bladdered during the weekend, and then repeat. That's exactly what the cycle was like, the self-perpetuating cycle, the vicious cycle. But then after I graduated college, I felt that, look, it was fine until the age of like 22, 23 for me to be living such an extreme lifestyle, but this lifestyle is not sustainable whatsoever. And so I have to make amends. So after college, after graduating college, things slowed down a fair bit. I started working, and it's not that I wasn't drinking. I was drinking, but I was drinking less frequently. Maybe I was drinking only one night every week as opposed to 2 nights or 3 nights. But still, when I was drinking, I was going absolutely berserk. They say when it rains, it pours. So the frequency at which it would rain definitely reduced after college compared to what the frequency was during college, but it was still pouring every time I was drinking, every time it was raining. In fact, I was drinking so much, especially during college, that sometimes I would think, it's not a case of alcohol in my blood. It's probably a case of blood in my alcohol. Let's come to February 2019. So February 2019 was this period when I was working for this one startup in Delhi. I secured a date for myself on the 14th of February. Special day, is it? Yeah, what's on the 14th of February? Anyway, 14th of February, secured a date for myself through Tinder. This girl I was meeting for the first time went to this beautiful jazz club called Piano Bar in Delhi. Like for those of you who are familiar with Delhi, might know Piano Bar. Got drinks for myself. When I say drinks, that's an understatement. I got 2 bottles of wine. I was the one who foot the bill. So ended up dishing out 12,000 fucking rupees in that one night. 12,000 rupees on 2 bottles of wine at a very classy place. Got absolutely fucked up. Got back home. Back then in Delhi, I was living with my Nanaji, my Naniji, my Mama and Mami. So, in a nutshell, long story short, it wasn't a very proud moment for me when I got back home, and they were the ones who actually welcomed me back home. And I was absolutely, my wits were completely blown away because of how much I had drank. And so as a reaction to that night and the guilt that followed for the next week or 2 weeks, I'm a very neurotic person, and so typically like these anxious thoughts or negative feelings don't just like disappear in a jiffy. They stay with me for quite some time. I felt that, look, Anubhav, you're someone who can't just have like 1 or 2 drinks. I envy the fucking people. I really envy the people who are like, what, I'm fine with 2 drinks. How can you do that? For me, it's either all or nothing. It's feast or famine. It's black or white. There's no moderation. There's no middle ground. Or you know what? Let me just just have a couple of drinks. Doesn't fucking happen. Does not fucking happen. And so I felt that, you know what, Anubhav, abstinence is going to be much easier for you, compared to moderation. And so I felt that quitting alcohol would be much, much easier than becoming better at the art or the very underrated and the very difficult skill called moderation. And so I put out a blog post us samay, and the blog post was titled Quitting Alcohol Until Marriage. Now, why marriage? Why exactly did I pick marriage? Because I felt that, look, I mean, I want to come up with a sustainable goal, a goal that I can actually abide by, as opposed to trying to bite off more than I can chew. And if I actually quit for the rest of my life, that might be a goal that would have been a goal that would have been unsustainable, to be completely honest. Plus the fact that I want to enjoy a drink or two or three or four with my future wife, as opposed to being that party pooper who's like, you know what, you can drink, I don't want to be drinking. And the last reason being the fact that, they say marriage cultures you, marriage civilizes you. And so I felt that, look, let me give it time until marriage. And after I get married, maybe I just learn the skill of moderation, because I become more civilized as a result of what marriage typically does to people. And so I did that. This was March 2019 when I actually put out that post. And for the next 2.5 years, I was very, very, very clean. I can count on my fingers the number of times I drank between March 2019 and the recent past. I was very happy with myself. Probably 3 or 4 occasions when I drank. So I wasn't completely clean, but still only 3 or 4 occasions in a 2.5 year spell. Right before the start of the second phase of the IPL, this was in UAE, I was about to travel. I felt like, look, you know what, Anubhav, during the first phase of the IPL, during these IPL after parties, KKR parties, I was depriving myself of alcohol because of this vow of mine that, I won't be drinking until marriage. But it would be good to be able to, have like a drink or two, like share a glass of wine with a player. Imagine like a Shubman Gill or a Brendan McCullum or like a Pat Cummins is out there, I want to be having like a drink with them, as opposed to being like, no, I don't want to drink only because, I've quit alcohol until marriage like a fucking wimp. Before the start of the second phase of the IPL, I felt that, Anubhav, you will drink as long as you can do so in moderation. And I had felt that, I'm pretty sure, Anubhav, you've probably become, because of your abstinence or because of staying away from alcohol for 2.5 years, you probably become a lot better at moderation than, say, what you were in college, when you were a lot more impulsive, or, right after college. And I got back to drinking during the IPL, and after every KKR match, or almost after every KKR match, I did have like a drink or 2 or 3 with players. I went overboard on a couple of occasions, but I didn't feel all that guilty, because I was like, bro, this is like a very unique atmosphere, right? I'm with the KKR team, I'm with the KKR players. These are like big name celebrities right in front of me. So even though I did get fucked up on a couple of occasions, I wasn't feeling bad about it, because I was like, it's almost like a once in a lifetime opportunity that I'm getting right now. So cherish it, dude, instead of being a neurotic fuck and regretting your actions and regretting your decisions. Just have fun, let loose for a change, because I'm very, very stiff typically as a person. I got back from the IPL. It's been about 5 weeks now since I got back from the IPL. And out of the last 5 weekends that I've spent in Calcutta, ever since I've gotten back from the UAE at the end of the second phase of the IPL, I have been hammered drunk on 4 of those weekends. And I'm not feeling good about myself. I'm feeling guilty. I'm succumbing to the same behavior that I had when I was in college, not being able to control myself when I'm drunk, and just being too impulsive. It's like, as I said, all or nothing. It's not a case of one drink. It's a case of like either not drinking or having 10 drinks, 15 drinks, if not more. And so I've decided, again, I've come to the same conclusion that alcohol, unless of course there are exceptional circumstances, alcohol net, alcohol does a lot more harm than good to me. I envy the people who can get fucked up and still wake up the following morning feeling happy and being like, guys, let's do it again tonight. Let's do it again. That frat boy mentality. They get absolutely sloshed, absolutely hammered, but they'll still wake up the following morning, call up their bros, bro, are we getting fucked up tonight or what? I wish I had that, but I'm a neurotic fuck. It does more harm than good to me. Plus, it's not good for my body as well. after I finished college as well. Early 2017 is when I took up fitness seriously, about a year and a half or a couple of years after having graduated from college. And so I knew that alcohol was actually inhibiting or impeding my gains, and so that was another added incentive for me to have reduced my alcohol intake after college. But yeah, now I came back to square one again, doing a lot of damage to myself because of my consumption of alcohol. So I've decided that between now and the start of the 2022 season of the IPL, I am not going to be drinking whatsoever. So this entire episode, especially the one that happened this past weekend, got me thinking, Anubhav, why is it that you're so impulsive? Why is it that you can't control yourself? Why is it that whenever you have this urge to have a second drink or a third drink or a fourth drink, why do you have to give in to your urges? Why do you have to act upon your urges? Why are you always jerking to the strings of your impulses? There's something called, people, whatever, neuroscientists or philosophers or psychologists, I don't know, they're all the fucking same. They call it a meta moment. So a meta moment is that fraction of a second or that split second that you have between you feeling an urge and you potentially acting upon that urge. So people who are very impulsive, cannot actually contain themselves or tame themselves during that meta moment. That's that decisive moment or that pivotal moment where you could either like tame your urge, or you could actually fucking give in and fall prey to that urge that you had. And so I just felt that, Anubhav, you're so impulsive. In other words, you're not as mindful. So how exactly can I become a lot more mindful in life, in my day-to-day life, in my day-to-day actions? Of course, having ADHD, or what I think is ADHD, doesn't help whatsoever. Like one of the glaring or blatant symptoms of ADHD is the fact that, you have, there's impulsive behavior that you showcase. That's the most obvious symptom. But still, there are ways in which you can become less impulsive. There are ways in which you can become more mindful without medication. And so I started doing some research, on Saturday when I was nursing my hangover, on Sunday as well when I was fucking reflecting on the weekend or the past couple of days that went by when I was hammered. I was reflecting, how exactly can I become more mindful? How exactly can I become less impulsive? And so there were 2 or 3 things, the obvious fucking shit that Google showed me. Number one was guided meditation or meditation, but it said that, if you're a beginner who's just getting into meditation, try guided meditation as opposed to, the unguided meditation. And I proceeded to download this app called Headspace. But Headspace, they only had paid plans. So I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm not paying any money right now. It's only when I get deeper into meditation that I might actually think about paying money for an app. So I got Headspace, but it didn't quite work out because of they had paid plans. So I got this app called Insight Timer. Some of you, some of you meditation fiends or meditation junkies might have heard of it, but I got this app called Insight Timer, and I proceeded to find a meditation for beginners, a beginner level meditation. And I came across this mindfulness meditation by Tara Brach. She's apparently some meditation practitioner, and she was the one who was the guide, in the guided mindfulness meditation. She's some Vipassana expert or something. And I swear to God, the only thing that Tara Brach and her fucking guided meditation guided me towards was wanting to fucking kill myself. She doesn't fucking shut up. It was a 10-minute guided meditation throughout the 10 minutes. And the funny thing was, the ironic thing was that throughout the meditation, intermittently, she's saying, make sure that you eliminate all distractions. And I'm like, bitch, you are the fucking distraction. Anyway, but I did pay heed to advice, and I completely eliminated the app, and I was like, let's move on to plan B or option B, So yoga also sprang up as an option. Yoga makes you a lot more mindful as well, because you're in the fucking present, whatever the fuck that means. Cheesy fucking shit. Anyway, I was like, let's give it a shot, Anubhav. Who knows? Nothing to lose. You might invest a bit of time. If it doesn't work out, but if it works out, the upside might be limitless. And so I started watching some videos of yoga instructors teaching yoga, of course, on YouTube, And to be completely honest with you, I was so distracted during every single video that I watched Because those yoga instructors teaching yoga on YouTube are so fucking hot. They're so fucking hot. How am I supposed to focus on doing these yoga asanas and these breathing techniques and whatnot when I have a raging fucking boner throughout the yoga practice? I have a raging boner throughout the practice. I don't care if it's yoga with Adrian or yoga with Sarah or yoga with Jessica. For me, it's all the same. It's yoga with a fucking boner. It's yoga with a fucking boner. My God. I honestly feel watching some of the yoga videos on YouTube, it's like soft porn. It's like soft porn. And look, I'm not being disrespectful whatsoever. Not being disrespectful at all. Some of these yoga instructors have followings of like 7 million, 8 million, 9 million, 10 million. But I'm pretty sure a lot of straight guys watch some of these yoga videos only because they derive like a perverse pleasure from it. If a guy says that he's not turned on by some of these yoga instructors teaching yoga on YouTube and whatever other platforms they teach yoga on, then that guy is either gay or asexual or is a fucking liar. Anyway, the funny thing is yoga, they say, in addition to, of course, making you a lot more mindful and less impulsive and calm and whatnot, it also makes you a lot more soft, a lot more supple, physically. But to be completely honest, instead of actually making me soft and supple, it just, made me really, really hard. Yeah. So, plan B, option B with yoga did not quite work out. And so I felt that, look, working out, like normal working out, the weight training that I like doing, hence these guns, or the lack thereof, they've really withered recently. They've really withered because I haven't been taking my workout seriously. And plus, as I said, alcohol is killing all my gains. So, working out is supposed to be a very meditative experience as well. It can be, again, because you're in the present, the endorphins or the feel good chemicals that your body releases when you're working out makes you feel good about yourself. And, so I felt that instead of actually working out in the evening, right, which becomes more of a social activity for me because, that's when the gym is brimming with people and the hot chicks that I like to, awkwardly walk up to. Let me work out earlier in the day when fewer people come to the gym, when there are hardly any people. So, an odd time, like the afternoon, like a 12 p.m. or a 1 p.m. when literally no one frequents my gym. There are a couple of people at the gym that to like, there's big fat aunties. Anyway, with due respect to aunties, I love aunties. And aunties love me as well. At least that's what I would like to think. Anyway, so I thought, yeah, let's go at 12 o'clock or 1 p.m. So instead of gym being a social activity, it can actually be a meditative experience for me. There'll be zero distractions whatsoever. I'll just be focusing on my workouts and, focus on being in the present. And it worked out. It worked wonders for me. I absolutely loved it. My workouts were a lot more effective, but there's a trade-off. It came with a downside. And the downside being the fact that I missed my babes at the gym. And I'm pretty sure my babes missed me at the gym as well. And so as someone who's working from home right now, and as someone who's a human being, and human beings are very social creatures, we're gregarious, especially me, who's a conversation junkie. I just love being around people. I love, it gives me like this, it uplifts my mood whenever I'm around people, like whenever I'm like, whatever, like physically around people, hugging them and talking to them. I missed that because of the afternoon workout. So my workouts were a lot better, but then in the evening hours, 6 p.m., 7 p.m., 8 p.m., which is when I typically am at the gym, I felt a void. I was like, shit, something's missing. I miss talking to people. And as I said, as someone who actually works from home, I think I need that social connection, which I get from the gym on a daily basis. One of the other reasons why, I'm thinking of going back to evening workouts now is that, after I worked out in the afternoon, the gym received a record number of complaints, complaints from all the hot babes, not just the hot ones, from all the hot babes saying, Anubhav is missing. We need Anubhav back. Where is Anubhav? We were coming to the gym because of Anubhav. And so I was like, you know what, Anubhav, as someone who's a nice person, a people pleaser, I have to actually make sure that I'm available for them. But I wasn't coming, it was good news for all the other dudes. All the other dudes felt that, the coast is clear. Anubhav hasn't come to the gym. Anubhav might be coming at a different time. So you know what? The coast is clear for me to be walking up to all these girls. But little do these fuckers realize that they've got massive shoes to fill. Big fucking shoes to fill. Really big shoes to fill. Really big shoes to fill. But even if they tried, they probably wouldn't have achieved anything. And so going back to evening workouts now, again, the workout might not be as effective or efficacious, but at the same time, I'm pretty sure I'm going to get a high from the people present there, especially my babes who I'm loyal to, and the babes who are loyal to me as well. Speaking of activity at the gym, it was there was this incident that took place last week involving me and the owner of the gym. I had a disagreement with the owner of the gym. First, before talking about the disagreement, let me just tell you little bit about the owner of my gym. He's so fucking vain. This guy, he's so fucking vain. I used to think I'm vain, I'm self-obsessed, which I am, and proudly so. But he's next level, in terms of vanity, in terms of how vainglorious this guy is. It's fucking suffocating. And he's 55 or 60. I'm like, come on, dude. Are you a fucking man-child? Like, how vain can you be? He's like one of those 17-year-old teenagers posting shit on Instagram all day long. And he reminds me of these chicks on Instagram. Some of these chicks, these Instagram models, they're mostly chicks. Some guys do the same as well, but they're mostly chicks. They're super fucking hot. They know it. They're models, and they post a picture, and in the picture, all you can see in the picture is ass and tits. That's the only thing that you can see in the picture. But the caption is something like, the sunshine is beautiful today. I can't fucking see the sunshine. All I see is ass and tits. Yet the caption is, the sunshine is beautiful today. I'm not complaining that I can't see the sunshine, but still, the caption isn't quite an apt description of what the picture is depicting. Anyway, so he's like one of those guys. He's going to be posing with his fucking abs, his six-pack abs, and then his caption is going to be something along the lines of, life is too short, so let's be happy. Like one of those stupid fucking wannabe philosophers, like dishing out cliched fucking shit, like an armchair philosopher. So he's like that, that's how vain the guy is. So he's at the gym. Sometimes he just visits, I was at the gym in the evening on that day, and he was there as well. And I'm up to no good at the gym. I'm like fucking around, dicking around, having fun with the people, as I said. And so there was a ball that was lying around at the gym, and so I just picked up the ball during my rest time, and there were like 2 or 3 gym trainers who were there, and I said, okay, I'm gonna be imitating a bowler's action. You have to guess which bowler it is. This is the game that we sometimes fucking play at the gym, and I'm always the protagonist in this game. And so I pick up the ball, I start imitating a bowler's action. Okay? None of the trainers are able to guess which bowler I'm talking about. Then the owner's also there. I could look from the corner of my eye. He's looking at me as well. So I turned to him and I asked him, sir, do you know which bowler this is? And he's like, no, I don't watch cricket. So I was like, okay. And then after a while, after like a few seconds, I say, okay, this was Varun Chakravarti's action. It was Varun Chakravarti's action that I was imitating. And then the owner tells me that, I don't even know who that is. I don't even know who that is. And then instantly I tell him, so you just said you don't watch cricket. So how exactly will you know who that is? So why will you know who that is? You don't even watch cricket. So he was a bit taken aback. He was expecting me to be like a bit curt, a bit brusque with my answer. That's straightforward with my answer. After I was done with my gym session, I got back home, I was done with dinner and everything. I was just reflecting on the day. I was reflecting on the day. Sometimes I tend to think a lot. In other words, I tend to overthink a fuck ton. And I was looking back on that incident. And that incident reminded me, ki Anubhav, it's good that you've actually gotten your ego back somewhat, like a healthy level of ego back. That's the Anubhav that Anubhav likes the most. The Anubhav who has personality, the Anubhav who has a little bit of ego. And that's one of the reasons why Anubhav, like the original Anubhav, right? The Anubhav who has like this a little bit of edge to his personality, loves the likes of Jose Mourinho, Virat Kohli, Cristiano Ronaldo, Ricky Ponting, people who have personality, people who have character. Whenever Anubhav is too zen, that is not the real Anubhav. Anubhav probably is suffering from some fucking mini depression, or Anubhav is not going through a good phase in his life. Whenever Anubhav is too zen, he's too calm, he's too goody types, that is not the Anubhav. That is not the Anubhav that Anubhav likes. That's not the Anubhav that you guys like as well, This Anubhav might ruffle a few feathers, but he knows deep down that his intentions are pure. His intentions are true. And one thing that I've learned a lot from is a line that I heard on Joe Rogan's podcast this one time. And Joe Rogan is very similar as well. Like he doesn't care if he's sitting in front of a fucking double PhD or a triple PhD or a Jordan Peterson or a Ben Shapiro or who, what have you, right? If something doesn't quite make sense to Joe Rogan, he will question it as opposed to being a sycophant or, someone inauthentic or someone like a phony who's just nodding or just agreeing with whatever the other person has to say. Joe Rogan does not care about authority, Joe Rogan had said on this podcast, he said, honest conflict has a lot more social value than dishonest harmony. Honest conflict has a lot more social value than dishonest harmony. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful fucking line. And look, I've been a people pleaser all my life. I still am, although become less of a people pleaser, which is why, for me, it becomes very hard to actually engage in conflict with people, even though there might be a good reason for me to be engaging in conflict. I'm too agreeable as a person. But I'm just happy. I'm just so happy that I've become less agreeable as a person compared to what I was earlier. Earlier, because my self-esteem, my self-worth was like very, very, very low, I always put the other person on a pedestal. Always put the other person on a fucking pedestal. And I was like, what? If he or she is saying this, he or she must be right. I have to be wrong here because who am I? I never trusted my judgment. But now that, over the years, because of habits, because of certain things, because of certain happiness hacks, my self-esteem, my self-worth has gone up. Self-esteem is nothing but the reputation that you have with yourself. So the reputation that I have with myself right now is much better compared to what the reputation that I had with myself was earlier. And because my self-esteem, my self-worth has gone up, now I'm like, I have a disdain for fucking authority. I won't say disdain for authority. There's certain authority figures that I respect a lot. But I won't just simply respect someone or agree with what someone has to say only because he or she is an authority figure. You can fuck off. And so I was happy. I was really happy after that incident because I was like, Anubhav, the former Anubhav, the earlier Anubhav would have just been like, oh, let's not ruffle his feathers. Let's not say anything, Anubhav. Who are you? He's the owner of the gym. You're using his property. But I was like, no, dude. I mean, you can disagree with someone, but you can disagree in a civil manner, right? You can disagree with someone in a polite manner. These days, what's happened is, there's something called cognitive dissonance, which is when people take offense to someone who has different views compared to their own views, And so that's why like a civil dialogue, a cordial dialogue is not possible now. It's not possible. It becomes antagonistic very, very quickly. And that's something you see between like both sides of the political aisle, the left side of the political aisle and the right side of the political aisle. They just cannot come together for a cordial discussion. And it's very, very difficult. Like disagreeing with someone in a civil manner is very, very difficult because typically whenever someone disagrees with you, right, you take it to heart. You take it personally. You feel as if, you're being slandered, you're being vilified, you're being attacked by this other person. But that's not the case, I never made it to the debate team when I was in school. Although I tried, I made my best efforts, but I wasn't good enough in school in Calcutta to make it to my debate team. But something, while watching debates, like the best of debaters debating on the podium, something that became very evident was the fact that the best of debaters always attacked the argument. They never attacked the person. Always attacked the argument, never attacked the person. And it's a skill, it's an art, but it's something that people will respect you for. If I disagree with you right now in a civil manner, or if you disagree with me right now in a civil manner, in the short term, maybe, you might end up ruffling my feathers or I might end up ruffling your feathers. But in the long term, you'll respect me for it or I'll respect you for it. In the long term, we'll be like, at least he or she had the balls to voice his or her opinion in a civil manner. On the other hand, whenever you just agree with someone, because you want to please the other person, then you might be more popular in the eyes of the person that you're agreeing with, right? But that person might not respect you for it. So it's always a trade-off. I've talked about this in previous videos as well. It's a trade-off between popularity and respect. You don't want popularity. You want respect. If you have to pick between one of the two, you want respect, you want respect. And so that's something Joe Rogan taught me. Again, it takes years for you to actually change yourself, because for so many years I've been a people pleaser, right? That's like hammered into my psyche. It's like deeply conditioned into me. And so, when something's been conditioned into you for many, many years, many decades, the unconditioning process does not happen overnight. It does not happen overnight. It takes a lot of time. It requires you to make a very deliberate, very concerted effort, a very mindful effort to uncondition yourself. But I think that line that I heard, honest conflict has a lot more social value than dishonest harmony, was a watershed moment for me. And that reminds me every day, ki Anubhav, you don't necessarily have to just agree with the person only because, the stature of the person on paper is greater than your stature, or this guy is, this hot shot. That you can disagree, but do so in a polite manner, in a graceful manner, in a civil manner. And so I love the fact that, that little bit of healthy arrogance, that little bit of healthy ego that I felt that I'd lost beach mein. I'd become too calm, too zen. Like I'm gaining that back right now. Like sometimes, a lot of people come across as zen, but they might be coming across as zen only because they have zero fucking personality, They have zero fucking personality. So people who are too calm and too zen, they're probably just like fucking wimps who have no personality at all. So I'd rather show personality when I ought to show personality and be zen when I ought to be zen. A perfect example is Virat Kohli. Perfect fucking example. A lot of people think, wo bhenchod bas MCBC karte rehta hai. He's actually a very calm character as well. He knows when he has to turn on the MCBC wala switch and when he's got to turn on the Zen switch. He's very clever that way. He can oscillate between both. He can freely oscillate between the Zen switch and the MCBC switch, So he has the personality. People know that he can bite. Carl Jung had said, if you can bite, you generally don't have to. Matlab ki, if people know that, you have it in you to be dangerous, to be able to bite, then people don't mess with you. As a result of which, you generally don't have to bite. If you can bite, you generally don't have to. And so don't be so naive and exploitable and agreeable that people can walk all over you. Right? Have a little bit of character, a little bit of feistiness. You fucking love it. In the short term, as I said, you might ruffle a few feathers, but in the long term, people are going to really respect you for it. And no one is going to take you as a pushover. No one's going to be like, what? I can have him under my thumb, or I can walk all over this motherfucker. No one. So don't be that naive. Don't be that exploitable, as I said. In the previous episode of the show, episode number 17, I had talked about the fact that, I fucked up with this one chick. I think those of you who watched the episode will know the story, but I'll give you a quick recap for those of you unfortunate ones who missed the episode. If you want to go from unfortunate to fortunate, then after you're done watching this episode, definitely watch episode number 17. And in the meantime, drop a like, drop a subscribe as well. Tell your friends about this podcast. But yeah, a quick recap. So I'd fucked up with this one girl. I'm just pulling up, the exchange that I had with this girl. I fucked up with this girl because it was her birthday that was coming up, and I had told her that, I don't have too many strengths, in my usual self-deprecating way. I said, I don't have too many strengths, but having a good memory is one of them, so I won't forget your birthday. And I just fucking ended up forgetting her birthday. Very unbecoming of me, very uncharacteristic of me, because jokes apart, genuinely, like I typically remember things. Anyway, she sent me a message 10 minutes after the end of her birthday. So, 12:10 a.m., I thought you would wish. And that's when I was shattered. I was like, holy fucking shit. After talking the big talk, I couldn't quite deliver and walk the walk and remember to wish her on her birthday. But anyway, that happened. So I sent her a message recently, last week only, after that, that exchange that we had, the initial exchange that we had. So I sent her a message saying, hey, so things all good between the two of us, right? Answer thoughtfully as I'm in search for a screenshot that serves as an update that I can provide on the next podcast episode. Ha 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 ha. And then she sends me a screenshot of one of the comments that came in, and Ishan Nilekar, if you're watching this, let me tell you that bhai, tum ek legend ho. And this legendary comment of yours warrants me reading it out from start to finish. So Ishan Nilekar says, take the girl you messed with out and do things she loves. Pamper her, adore her, and treat her with surprise. And at the end of the day, tell her that a birthday isn't required to remind her that she is special. Any day should be like that. She will be weak in the knees and forgive you or continue to be sad. For latter case, find other options, dude. She sends me a screenshot of Ishan's comment and says, first act on their suggestions now. And then that was the first time I was actually reading Ishan's comment, and I absolutely fucking crack up. I crack up and I say, ha 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 ha. This is class. If I do this, will you be, quote unquote, weak in the knees and forgive me, or, quote unquote, continue to be sad? And she says, would be a fool if I choose the latter. No. वो थग लाइफ वाला जो जिफ होता है ना, थग लाइफ वाला, वो करो यार, वो करो. चश्मे दो, यू नो, एक गोल्ड चेन दो, एक जॉइंट दो. ना, would be a fool if I choose the latter. So guys, you know, happy update. Thank you so much for all your lovely suggestions that came in response to me describing, you know, the conundrum or the sticky situation that I was in. ईशान भाई, तुम एक लेजेंड हो, you know, तुम्हारा जो comment था, that was the reason behind, you know, things now being smoother again between the two of us. Bro, you're a fucking legend. But that's, yeah, you know, I thought that I should probably include this in this podcast episode because I had devoted like a fairly big chunk of my previous podcast episode to talking about this story, this saga. But now, you know, it's all calm now on the waterfront. Now, you know, a couple of closing things which you'll find very interesting. The best piece of content that I watched all week, dude. I saw this podcast of Ricky Ponting on the Grade Cricketer. Like, you cricket junkies, you cricket nuts, I'm pretty sure must have heard of the Great Cricketer. I'm a big Ricky Ponting fan. You know, it was a 1 hour podcast. The two guys who host the podcast are fucking legends. They're brilliant. They're absolutely brilliant. And they had Ricky Ponting in the studios. Beautiful conversation. You know, 1 episode, but it felt as if I'd watched only for 10 minutes or 15 minutes because time was just flying by. You know, that's how much I was enjoying listening to the podcast. You know, sometimes whenever you're in flow state, when you're enjoying doing something so much, the time just like flies by in a jiffy. You know, it happens when you're having sex. Which in my case is obvious only because, you know, it doesn't take too long for 15 seconds to flow by because that's how long I fucking last in bed. Anyway, jokes apart. But yeah, absolutely mesmerizing, captivating, fascinating, enchanting, enriching conversation with Ricky Ponting. So if you're a cricket fan, if you're a cricket nut, if you're a Ricky Ponting fan, definitely watch that. You know, I loved it so much. That as soon as the podcast ended, I downloaded Ricky Ponting's autobiography as well. You know, it's called At the Close of Play. It's been a while since he published the autobiography, since he released it. And it's a book, you know, I've thought about reading, but I've never quite pulled the trigger on it. But finally, I got At the Close of Play. I have it in my books app on my iPad, and that's the book that I'm going to be reading. I had mentioned in my previous podcast episode that I'm reading Patrice Evra's autobiography. I was supposed to finish it, you know, between that podcast episode and this one that you're watching right now. I haven't finished it. I've finished about 45 or 50% of it. You know, I haven't finished it only because I was too busy getting fucked up this past weekend as opposed to reading. Shame on me. But whatever I've read so far, like the 40% or the 50% that I've read so far, I've thoroughly enjoyed. So if you're a Manchester United fan or a Patrice Evra fan, highly recommend you reading Patrice Evra's autobiography. It's called I Love This Game. I skipped the section where he was talking about his life before Manchester United, you know, read some of it. So I moved straight to the section where, you know, he talks about his first day at United and what life at Manchester United was like. And it was so gripping, so gripping, so riveting. So, you know, United fans or football fans in general will definitely enjoy reading I Love This Game by Patrice Evra. You know, staying on the Manchester United topic, and we'll conclude with that. Ole Gunnar Solskjær, of course, sacked as Manchester United manager. All the pundits, all the experts, you know, have talked about this. So there's nothing for me to add here. There's just one thing that I'm going to say. And that is that, you know, Ole Gunnar Solskjær, after we lost 4-1 to Watford, after we got lost is an understatement, you know, after we got absolutely annihilated, after we got absolutely decapitated, after we got absolutely murdered or mauled by Watford 4-1, what I really appreciate about the man, Ole Gunnar Solskjær, is the fact that he was getting a lot of stick from the away fans, from the Manchester United fans who were at Vicarage Road for that game. He still had the fucking balls to go up to them, take all his players with him, and applaud the fans for the support, and applaud the fans for the fact that, you know, they still made the long journey. They came to Watford and they still continued singing until the final whistle, although United went down 4-1 in that game. He had the balls to walk up to them and applaud them, even though, there were sections of that away section that were calling for his head, that were saying nasty things, that were giving him a lot of flack, a lot of stick. But he was still very, very, very graceful, very dignified in the manner in which he conducted himself in front of those away fans. And he asked all the players that, go there, applaud them. He applauded all of them, apologized as well, had the balls to apologize. It's very, very hard. Had the balls to apologize to them, and then walked back to his dugout. So whatever, a club legend, an absolute fucking club legend, Ole Gunnar Solskjær. And I think he's definitely left the club in a much better place compared to what the plight or what the situation at the club was when he took over, after Mourinho had finished his toxic spell at Manchester United. You guys should definitely, so while I was having breakfast early this morning, I watched his interview, the interview that the Manchester United YouTube channel released. So this was like a farewell interview, like a 15-minute video where Ole Gunnar Solskjær was just reflecting back and looking back on the last 3 years that he spent at United, and the fact that, he's always going to be a big United fan, even though, he might not be at the helm as a manager right now. But you guys should, again, United fans, Ole fans, definitely check out that interview. He gets very emotional at the end as well. He starts tearing up a bit. And as someone who's followed the club pretty much, since the time I was in my diapers, I got a bit emotional as well while watching that. Anyway, so that concludes episode number 18 of the Anubhav Jain Show. I fucking loved it. Absolutely loved it. A couple of quick announcements. So look, it's something, as I mentioned on my previous episode as well, it's something, this format, the solo format with me talking about, the highlights that took place in my life this past week, as well as talking about, the highlights that took place in some of my areas of interest, say sport being one of them. This format is new. I'm experimenting with it. I think the feedback was fairly good based on what the comments were in episode number 17 of the Anubhav Jain Show. But tell me, if there are any suggestions that you have, any suggestions whatsoever, any constructive criticism that you have in terms of how I can improve the show, what other formats could I experiment with, what else I should be doing based upon your understanding of what makes me tick, what my strengths are, what my interests are, what's in my wheelhouse, what you think I'll be able to do justice to. Based upon your understanding of me, then definitely let me know. And if your suggestion is that, Anubhav, you should use the F word less often during these podcasts, then you, as well as your suggestion, can fuck right off. I'm kidding. I love the comments that came in on the previous episode. So keep the comments flowing. Say whatever you want to say. Nothing offends me, or sometimes it does. But for the most part, I'm able to laugh it off because we're all gonna fucking die one day, bro. We're all gonna fucking die one day. Because of that, I've stopped taking myself all that seriously as well. So keep the comments coming in. By the way, you can listen to these podcast episodes as well on Apple Podcasts as well as Spotify, in case that's your cup of tea. But I don't know if I mentioned this in the last podcast. If I did, let me repeat. The downside to that is you won't be able to see my beautiful face. This beautiful face has become less beautiful only because I've become really fucking fat recently. Alcohol has been a big contributor to my lack of fitness in the recent past, or my precipitous decline in terms of fitness in the recent past. But as they say, form is temporary, class is permanent, and Anubhav Jain will soon be back on the fitness grade, firing on all cylinders. So chin up, Anubhav, chin up. More like double chin up, Anubhav. Be on the lookout for a couple of video releases this week. So Wednesday, I'm going to be releasing a video. Friday, I'm going to be releasing a video as well. The appreciation, the comments on the two releases that I had last week, the two releases in addition to episode number 17 of the Anubhav Jain Show, were fucking fantastic. So the Pat Cummins video, as well as the video that I did with my Jain mother, my orthodox Jain mother answers uncomfortable questions. Fucking love the comments that came in. I've read every single one of them. I haven't replied to all of them, but I will be replying to them, over the course of the week. My mum loved the comments as well. So thank you so much for all the love and the support that you showed. That's it. That concludes episode 18 of the Anubhav Jain Show. You guys are absolute fucking legends. I thoroughly enjoyed this podcast. Hopefully you enjoyed this half as much as I enjoyed creating this. Anyway, that's it for me. That's it. But I'll see you very, very soon. Until then, take care, stay safe, keep smashing it, and cheers.